I think anyone who's been watching Kaguya-sama for now 3 seasons has come to the conclusion that the characters in general can be pretty psycho in this show. I mean, just the idea of trying to get the other person to say I love you has caused for some pretty crazy shit to occur. But there was something about the girls in this episode that cranked it up a notch to the point of, I think what made it so terrifying and so almost yandere is the fact that, in general, you might have 1 or 2 characters acting a little psycho together, but when you have 3, sometimes 4 of them working in harmony about cheating, and the cheating in question isn't even from the guy's side. In fact, he's just seemingly a pretty nice boyfriend, all things considered, just wanted some help finding a nice necklace for his girlfriend. Sure, the girl in question apparently has feelings and in return wants to break apart, friends, but the fact that there was such a misunderstanding and it turned into such a psycho convention, it just makes for some of the craziest Kaguya-sama content, and you're just thankful you're not in the middle of it. Because, honestly, I might go as far as to say, out of the 3 episodes that we've seen of Season 3 so far, I think the first section of this episode is probably the most entertaining of the season so far. And sure, some people might say, well, we're only 3 episodes into the season, that's not too hard. But when each episode has 3 or 4 sections to an episode, and they're such high quality, they're well written, they're well animated, hell, the voice actors knock it out of the park, it's hard not to love what you're hearing. And I mean, I can't be the only one who got a kick out of the narrator, who is honestly best boy, when he announces the results for the day. The way he's so, in a blushing / erotic tone explained who was the winner as you have the French kissing, the tongues in the mouth, and I love how they, kind of quote-unquote censor it, and the characters in the background being like, what in the actual hell are we listening to? What are we seeing? Why are their tongues, meshed into one? Absolutely amazing. But the first section I thought was incredible, because seriously, the idea of this girl who just continues to cause trouble for the student council there, and the fact that, you have arguably a very sane, cool, calm, and collected persona in the middle of 2 girls who are very possessive and obsessive. And, the idea of we saw them, talking in the hallway. Well, you shouldn't consider that cheating. That's really jumping the gun. Well, then I saw them at karaoke. Well, karaoke might just be karaoke. Nope, that's absolutely where it's going to happen. And I love just, the escalation and how then eventually she gets in on it, being like, absolutely, he's cheating. There's no way around it. And I think the funniest moment building up to that is when she's talking about how, I clearly was misunderstanding, I trusted him, so I went into his phone, and I went through his messages, but I only did that because I trusted him, and I just needed to verify so he had proof. And I'm like, holy shit, these girls should not be allowed to be alone in a room together, because the shit that they could cause could start a war, it feels like. Sure, they're just in school, they're talking about romance that even some of them recognize might not last past the school year. But the fact that they can go that yandere over something so trivial in their life, to then imagining what they could do in a war room, holy shit, it's terrifying, and you're just glad this is anime for sure. But I love seeing how they reverse it, right? Because then we're like, okay, we solved the misunderstanding. He was just wanting to get her an anniversary gift. It's not like, he just had that in his pocket, so if he got caught, he could, sway her. But the fact that they're all talking shit about the heart necklace and then she loves it, I mean, you're just like, okay, yeah, they're a bit crazy, but, the young love, they're fine. And then you see the person who, honestly, the way they were directing, I was like, shit, that really is just someone trying to help. And then you see, no, she actually has feelings. And I love the fact that you, of all characters, is the person who loves this girl because, she just speaks her mind, and the fact that she has a Kaguya undertone in terms of aura because she's a distant relative to Kaguya. So a lot of the mannerisms and the way she phrases things, you just immediately get the impression that it's not as powerful as Kaguya's aura, but it's, you can tell it's a distant relative. And the fact that you, someone who loves the bluntness, and then someone like, obviously, our boy Miyuki, who loves Kaguya, of course they're going to consider her cute and in return cause Kaguya to go on a bit of a rampage herself. But I love that. I love how they structured that, just starting off on one side and then starting it off on the other, and then setting in motion the undertone for that mini plotline this season of them having to help her try to break up this couple as we simultaneously just establish that the couple should be fine in theory. Really, really entertaining shit. And the animation and the directing, I especially love the directing in this because there's so many times you just got into this almost shaky cam and the way the characters would be distorted or blurred or it felt like the room was closing in on them. There was some shit. I was like, God damn. I kind of feel like we're almost in a Saw movie at times. But I have to say, to end it with the coin game, I think it's called like the 10 yen coin game or something like that. Essentially, it's actually kind of interesting. I never thought of it, but the idea of giving everyone the same coin, or at least in theory the same coin, because there are the years and the differences. The fact that, someone asks a question and you have to either go yes or no. They take it to the extreme because cheek is a part of it and they have a lie detector, so you absolutely can't lie. But the idea that place it and then you shuffle it under like a piece of cloth, and then you'll know if anyone in that group, especially if they're asking romantic questions, has feelings. And I think that's actually kind of brilliant because, you gotta spin the bottle and shit like that. But that's like, you absolutely have to like reveal your true feelings if you're doing like truth or dare and stuff, right? The fact that, it's technically, you can't tell who it is unless, well, you're Kaguya and you recognize and you keep in mind how many of each year of what coins are there. But the fact that you also have geniuses like Miyuki who can forfeit, basically take the coin that he knows someone is looking at and switch it around so you don't actually know. But I think it was a pretty great game because, poor you, the poor guy's just like, you guys hate me. One yes, everyone else no. And he's just so in awe and, just the casual Miko remarks being like, I can't believe you answered no yourself. You're just despicable. But then she asked pretty much the same question. And of course, you being best boy, he's not going to throw shade at her in her time of feeling down and things like that, even though she would do the same to him. But then just to see the who in this room loves me sort of a thing, I honestly was expecting, just because it's Kaguya-sama, that there was going to be 2 yeses or something, and that would really throw a wrench. And I thought what was going to happen was it'd be Chika. She would also say yes just to be a bit of a troll because she knows someone would admit it. But at the same time, it makes sense that she would want this to be exposed, right? But then just to see the escalation and shit, I absolutely loved it. Kaguya-sama, favorite rom-com, love the comedy. I really could watch these characters for 10 seasons. Honestly, that's how strongly I feel about it. And just everything about this production, it feels consistent from season 1, episode 1, all the way to season 3, episode 3. And it really feels like it's not dipping in quality, and we could watch this for as many episodes as they give us, and we're probably always going to have a grin. And maybe looking over our shoulder from time to time, because sometimes these characters makes us, a little frightening. Though I will say I am definitely excited to see where that kind of cheating, kind of sabotage boyfriend plotline will go in future episodes. And I hope they keep it around for more than just 1 or 2 segments because I think that'd be pretty entertaining. Also, I'm not sure if I've mentioned it yet in either episode 1 or 2's video, but I do want to make a note because I have had some people ask me, so I'm not sure if it was because they just didn't watch the full video or if I actually haven't mentioned it because I honestly can't remember. But I do love the opening and the ending of this season of Kaguya, which is no surprise. But the openings and the way they go about, directing and the songs that's blasting, it's hard not to get hyped up for Kaguya. And I especially love that Kaguya never skimps on the visuals, whether it's the ending songs visuals or the opening songs. Kaguya-sama is definitely in a league of its own when it comes to that production of its OP and ED. So yeah, anyone who's wondering, do I love it? Absolutely adore it, and I will never skip it this season. Thoughts if you have any on this week's episode of Kaguya-sama? Favorite moment, what do you hope to see maybe in coming episodes? Let me know down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new around here. Until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.